Hello, my name is Megan Chen, and I've been a practicing speech therapist for the past 25 years. This video is to help you to understand how to help your child if your child has speech difficulties and is not able to say speech sounds clearly and makes mistakes such as not being able to say L sounds, R sounds, S sounds, J sounds, and so forth. Okay, in some earlier videos, we talk about the reasons why your child may be having difficulties. I gave you some specific tips that you can apply, some game changers that you probably will not read about anywhere else. Now in this video, I'd like to talk a little bit more about the principles behind speech therapy. Because once you start to actually put into practice those tips that we talk about, you might find that you encounter difficulties here and there. Ideally, you want to be working with a speech therapist because they are the professionals who are specifically trained to diagnose and to treat children or adults with speech problems. So hopefully you're working alongside a speech therapist. But if not, if you're trying to work on these difficulties by yourself, hopefully these principles will help you even more. Okay, so if you take away nothing else, remember, if you're trying to correct your child who's not able to say certain sounds, not saying R sounds correctly, S sounds correctly, the main thing is to understand that in order to produce a sound, you need to be moving the speech muscles in the right way. So saying T sounds, teddy, is different and requires different tongue movements from saying a word like kindergarten or caterpillar. If you just slow down and think about how you produce those sounds in a word such as caterpillar, there's the C sound, there's the T sound, there's the P sound, there's the L sound, caterpillar. You move your mouth through different steps, different movements. You use your lips for P sounds, you use your tongue for L sounds, and so forth. So that's the main thing. So you want to do everything you can when you're teaching your child to help him or her understand this. You want to slow down your movements, really demonstrate and emphasize how you move your lip and your tongue. You want to maybe use a mirror. You want to use other modalities such as helping them to feel air coming out. You want to get them to feel and exercise different muscles. Okay, so that's the most important thing to understand how we produce speech sounds. Now, one other principle is that different words, that begin with the same sound may not all be equally easy or difficult for that matter. So in other words, see, if you're teaching a sound such as S, you want to be aware that different S sounds may be of different levels of difficulty. So some words are going to be easier for your child to say. Words such as star, small, okay? A word that you think of as being shorter, such as sun, may not necessarily be easier for your child to actually say. And when you encounter a word that's not as easy for your child to say, and your child says, trying to say sun, and they say dan, or they may try really hard and say stun. What happens is that as they're trying to do that and struggling with a difficult sound or difficult word, they're actually getting to repeat their old mistakes over and over, and it might be more difficult to undo. So you want to, again, ideally be working with a speech therapist so you know the different levels, what words to start off with, which are easier for your child to say, which are a little bit more difficult. But if you don't have the benefit of working with a speech therapist and you're trying this on your own, just be aware that there are different words that may be easier. Some may be easier, some may be more difficult, and don't keep trying with a difficult word. Okay, so one other principle to remember is also that this will take time. So getting from where your child is right now, so let's say your child is trying to say the toy, the car, and your child does not say the correctly, and your child is saying g car, g bike, and so forth. Now, it may take a long process for your child to get from what we call the current sound to a target sound. There may be a few intermediate steps. So in other words, instead of saying car, your child may slowly move to the step where he or she is saying the car, more like a D sound, and then move on to being able to say the TH sound, the car, correctly. So just bear in mind that as long as your child is making progress and is moving in the right direction, be patient and continue practicing. So those are some of the most important principles. You also want to make sure one other important principle to bear in mind is that you want to make sure you're giving your child very clear feedback. Okay, was that right? Could it sound better? Okay, which bit was good? Maybe your child is not able to say the CH sound chocolate straight away. Okay, but you want to make sure just a little bit. If you can't get the entire word right, well, try to get the sound, just a ch sound. If your child can't even get the sound right, maybe you just want to focus on the right movement, getting the shape of the mouth right. So more like a like what we call a lip rounding the lips, and that will help the sound to come out correctly. Maybe if she can't get the ch sound right, you want to just work on blowing out some sounds, like getting parts of the sound right. So that again is moving in the right direction. And remember that it's something that will take a while. If you have followed from the previous video and you've started doing what I suggested, which is to show your child what not to say and what to say instead, you would have a better understanding that, hey, it's not that easy. If you have to say all the sounds and all your L sounds differently, all your S sounds differently, you're going to realize that it takes a lot of awareness and attention before it starts becoming more of what we call muscle memory and becomes automatic. So just bear that in mind and don't give up. Okay? If you've gotten something from this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.